everybody, this is the Dark Match for the pay-per-view of SummerSlam. I am the Revolver Man.
I'm Mr. War Machine, and I suck at openings.
I'm your token chick duo's Angel.
And I am your foxy friend Backlash, and I am having way too much fun playing with all the new buttons on my brand new keyboard, and I think Logitech owes us $10 for that promo. And now it's time for something a little different. What is Kevin Nash tweeting? This is from a couple months ago, actually, and it reads as follows. Punk, if you want my backup, you got my number. You're worth me going back on the road full time. Offer stands, understands if you want to go it alone.
Foreshadowing.
Yes.
Kevin Nash impression.
Yeah, that was...
I know exactly how you do an impression of a guy like that.
Well, anyway, the show opens up with a very aptly named guitar player called Tool doing the national anthem with, and I forgive to everybody who probably listened to this from the States, a sickeningly huge amount of patriotic bullshit.
I mean, what do you expect? It's the WWE. And by the way, I resent your Tool comments, sir.
What, you don't love America, boy? You got a problem with us down here in America, up there in Canada land?
And by the way, his name
isn't
Tool.
pour some more maple syrup.
Well, you know what? He acted like a fucking Tool, so I'm going to call him
How did he act like a Tool? All he did was play the national anthem on his guitar.
Yeah, but everything made him look like a Tool, damn it.
Shut your Canadian mouth.
Everybody outside the U.S. will agree with me.
Your face is a Tool. Let's move on.
In defense, though, all countries tend to get very nationalistic sometimes.
Yes.
I don't think that was a word.
Egoistic, if you want the proper word.
Thank you.
So, after the national anthem, it kind of pans out to the crowd, and already the show gets off to a great start because you can totally see who's coming out next. because of the way they panned out, they totally showed Mrs. Grand Entrance, because what he was going to do is, which probably seemed a lot cooler in planning, he runs through these balloons that have awesome written on them in what looks like they were written with silly string, and
he did that at WrestleMania too. So
he's been doing that, but he does that at most pay-per-views.
Yeah, he does that at most pay-per-views.
It's not a new thing.
The thing is, though, they don't usually telegraph it like that.
Well, still, I mean, it probably seems a lot cooler in planning, because it never looks cool. I've never thought it was cool.
That is the least badass thing I have ever seen.
Yeah.
The man comes out through bubble letters.
Yeah, it's
This is something you expect a teenage girl to do.
Not only that, you notice that he has to put all his effort into pushing them out of his way.
Yeah, because he looked winded. But he comes out and he does his usual Miz shtick, and then he starts talking. Like I said, this pay-per-view's off to a great start. And so he starts kind of bullshitting, and he starts, doing his typical Miz shtick. Oh, thanks for insisting I wrestle to the fans. And then he's interrupted by R-Truth, and then R-Truth gets interrupted by Ricardo. And then Del Rio comes out driving. And then it's just like, at first, I thought they were building up to a three-way between these guys, which was really weird because the crowd really wouldn't cheer for any of them. But then Kofi and Morrison come out, and then Rey Mysterio comes out, and it's a six-man tag, which they didn't advertise at all. Which, before we get into covering this match in too much detail, it was a great match.
It was a great match.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand why they didn't advertise it. They did that with 2 matches on this show. They didn't advertise either of them, and also, they just had them come out cold open. Like, you know, it was.
What's more than that is that 2 of the heels in this match are main event heels, and one, as we'll find out, is going to be the main event heel.
Mm. Well, the only thing I could think of this entire time was, what was Kofi doing there?
I don't know. But
No offense to Kofi. It's not like I don't like watching him wrestle. It's just, Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio has a reason to be up against any of those 3 heels at this point. John Morrison, obviously there for R-Truth.
Yeah, this is something
Who did Kofi piss off?
Well, my theory
is my microphone on? Jesus, what the fuck?
My theory is that they needed racial good guy balance. Because they had the whites, the Latinos, and they needed the blacks to be equalized.
Right. Let's move on.
Shit. Fuck, I gotta fix this.
I can hear you, dude.
What? Now you can hear me?
We've been able to hear you.
We're sorry for talking over you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
We thought you were just being belligerent. I didn't think that you honestly didn't think...
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for having an opinion on this match. I'll just let you guys do the show without me.
Well, no, we're sorry.
Well, now we feel like crap.
Thanks, Dick.
Hey, you guys got to say something, but now you've ruined it, so whatever.
Go ahead. Seriously, it's not that big of a deal. Just go right ahead.
I don't want it anymore. The show's ruined now.
Fuck. Face it, guys. SummerSlam's ruined forever. But,
all right.
Waiting on that.
Just talk.
What I am trying to say is this is a running problem we are going to be seeing a lot during the show. Because the one thing I really noticed about everything, this show is incredibly padded. And there were, 6 matches tonight? Not counting at the end, which we'll get to. But with the amount of padding that they did, I say all 6 of these guys should have paired up and just had singles matches. Like, I would have done Truth versus Morrison if they hadn't already blown their load on Raw. I'd have done Miz versus Kofi, because, they can put on a good match. And I'd have done Alberto versus Rey, because, again, that's a good match. But no, as we're going to see, we have stupid crap like the CeeLo concert, which we'll get to. We had to give Adam Jones the beginning of the show.
And when we get to the CeeLo concert, I'll kind of air my opinion about CeeLo.
Yeah.
We're all going to air our opinion on CeeLo during that fucking concert.
Once again, I'd rather wait until the actual concert.
Yeah,
but
tangent later.
Yeah, I'd agree with you that it is a padded show, and they probably should have done that, at least with Kofi and Miz and Rey and Alberto, because really, they kind of,
Alberto
kind of blew their load. They really did blow their load on Raw with R-Truth versus John Morrison. And it was just because of how decisively he lost. And, I'm sure you guys covered this on the Raw show, but I don't know.
Well, let's talk about the match itself. The match itself was decent. I'll give them that.
I disagree. I think this was a very good match.
I agree. These are great talents. I mean, they know what the fuck they're doing at least.
Yeah, it was a fun 6-man tag match that, kept you guessing, even though you already knew who was going to win. But, there were points where it looked like that was going to be it, and then they just swapped it right there. And it was like that. It was a series of, I wouldn't say a series, but there was a few really good false finishes. And, it was a really good match. I liked pretty much everyone in there. Kofi's Kofi. I mean, I don't really hate the guy, but he is he's like the new RVD.
He's the Shelton Benjamin, I think, is a better description.
Shelton Benjamin was a way better wrestler. Like, when I say he's the new RVD, he comes in, does the spots, leaves. And, which is why he doesn't get as big of a pop when he comes back out, because he does pretty much the same thing, just in a different order. And, I like Kofi, don't get me wrong, but, As far as, the other talents go, I think John Morrison probably should have got the pin over Mysterio, but he is the most over person on his team, so I can understand why he got the pin, but I think Morrison needed it a little bit more after being spanked on Raw by R-Truth.
Yeah, he ain't ever going over in anything now, thanks to his little...
Yeah. We've discussed that enough, though. But yeah, it was a pretty good match, and basically team face wins. But let's move on to another segment that was actually pretty funny, because we have CM Punk backstage with Johnny Ace, motherfuckers.
I think you mean John Laurinaitis, sir.
I'm running with that tag. I've embarrassed myself once. I'm fucking running with this.
And Johnny Ace wants an apology for what was done to him on last Monday's Raw, and Punk just pretty much straight up mocks Laurinaitis, and near the end he starts making these really weird faces at Laurinaitis, which were really funny.
I have to say, we said it before, but I'm going to say it again. As poor as Laurinaitis is as a talent scout, he is awesome at portraying pure douche asshole.
Well, he's not acting.
That's the thing.
It's kind of like Charlie Sheen on 2.5 Men. Charlie Sheen isn't acting.
No, something just this second actually hit me. Think about what happened at the end of the night, and think about this promo. If it didn't break kayfabe, do you think these two events would be related and at all?
Huh.
Yeah. But, anyways. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Backlash. But, so after Punk finishes talking to Ace, he turns around and sees Stephanie McMahon, a.k.a. my God, is she hot.
MILF.
Oh, dude, totally. Steph is, she says that she's here to wish him good luck. And Punk has this look on his face that's like, you know I'm supposed to be the bad guy, right? And he tells Steph to run along and talk to her husband and wish her dad luck in the job market. And she basically says, oh, they wish you luck too, along with John Cena. This is all fair and what have you. And she extends her hand. And Punk goes, I'd shake your hand, but I'd know where it's been. And then he goes, oh! Burn! Sick burn! Oh, God.
The obvious joke is there, but as somebody who's read the sleaze lists that permeate wrestling, that's even fucking funnier.
Oh yeah, like just sick burn, Punk, and like the look on her face was just like, you smug little shit. It was an awesome segment. Like, and really, this is the type of stuff that I
miss.
These are the type of segments, the obvious comedy segments that kind of plagued WrestleMania, but the difference is they're actually funny here.
Well, we actually got somebody. Well, I don't know if Punk did this himself, but if he did, we finally got somebody making jokes who has fucking wit.
Yeah. It's not just. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But afterwards, we get a video package for Sheamus and Mark Henry.
Video packages, something that will be quite present during the night. Again, we'll get to this.
And if
I'll have a.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to say I'll have a lot to say on this when we get to the main event.
And I was going to say that if there was any match that needed the video hype, it's a Mark Henry Sheamus match.
Now, I'm going to be fair here. I went in with all intents, like, I love Sheamus. I think Sheamus is awesome. I like his look. I like his moveset. I like anything he does. I even thought he was kind of cool when he was doing his LARPing, when he went through his LARPing stage. But this match was disappointing. I mean, it was your standard Mark Henry match, really. Sheamus got in some pretty good offense, but
it's fucking Mark Henry. What else can be done?
I mean, really, you are pushing the world's most unathletic man. I mean,
what gets me is that he's been doing this match for nearly 20 years, and WWE still hasn't figured it out.
He is not. He's getting these annual pushes, and he really shouldn't, because he's not a good wrestler. He can't talk, and I'll be honest with you, if I didn't know his Olympic background, I wouldn't find he doesn't look all that intimidating. He looks like the Black Pillsbury Doughboy. I mean, there's really not much more to be said about this man.
Well, I don't know about that, because I look at him and say, like, if I piss this guy off, he might sit on me.
Yeah,
Well,
that is very true, Backlash. The problem is, you could probably out-crawl him while he's running at full pace after you.
Yes, I believe we've all seen that video of him trying to race the Nexus.
Mamma mia!
Anyways, the finish of this match, they've been doing the spot a lot, haven't they? Where someone goes through the barricade.
Yeah, but it normally didn't end like this. The problem with this finish was that
it made Sheamus look like a wuss.
Not really. I wouldn't say it made him look like a wuss, because still, that's throwing a man through the barricade at full strength, and with the way they're booking Mark Henry, at least in terms of kayfabe, the fact that he was still moving and almost got to the ring before the count was out makes him look fairly tough. And he was up and moving by the time, like, Mark Henry was out of the ring. You know.
Yeah, I buy the finish. It annoys me because countouts to me or roll-ups are pretty much the same as roll-ups to Genghis.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that they went out like this just to continue the feud. If you really wanted Mark Henry to win so bad, just have him lose dirty. Have him cheat or something. Like we'll see later tonight. Have him do an illegal move. Have him put his feet on the ropes, which, again, with the way you're booking Mark Henry, like, his weight and his feet on the ropes
would damage the ring.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I still view this as one of the first of a few booking mistakes. Because if you really want to push Sheamus as the next big babyface, this would have been the time to do it, to at least show that he could maybe overcome Mark Henry. I mean, if you wanted to keep pushing Mark Henry, I'd have Sheamus win, but then have Mark Henry beat him down afterwards.
Like, grab a chair.
I think that would make it look even worse. I mean, like, Sheamus winning, and then he just gets, and then the same thing that happened to Kane and Big Show happened to him.
Well, no, like, not have that happen. Like, maybe even have Henry attempt that, but Sheamus is able to escape. So you'd be like, oh, I got your number, fella.
I mean, Tiefus,
logical.
When we were talking to Tiefus, or when I was talking to Tiefus, he said that this finish was worse than a pinfall to him, and I disagree, because I think the pinfall is far more decisive than having to use the countout to beat him. However, this was a really weak finish, and it really didn't make anyone who was involved look good. So I hope they continue this, and I hope they have a far more definitive finish the next time they have the match. And given a interview I read with Sheamus on WWE.com, they're going to continue this feud, which really fucking irks me. But there's nothing I can do about it.
It's keeping Mark Henry away from the World Heavyweight Championship for now, at least.
Mark Henry will always get his super push every 2 years that vanishes because somebody gets off their drugs and realizes, oh, fuck, we've been pushing Mark Henry again. Cut.
Someone send in the Undertaker. Kill him. But I just this match was very to me. But this next match drove me up a wall. But first,
No.
Wait.
Yeah, we have some stuff to talk about. We have Christian being interviewed by Josh Matthews backstage.
yeah, son of a bitch. This interview was really interview was really redundant. I mean, this was the epitome of padding, really. But
I beg to differ, but we'll get to that.
This to me was more padding because of how redundant it was.
At least there was a wrestler in it.
We'll get to that.
The next segment.
Yeah, that's the next segment.
They involve wrestlers, so technically. But this was more just redundant than anything. I felt like I was just watching repeats of SmackDown. I mean, I just didn't like this segment. It had Christian in it, and, so I guess that's a plus. But I really just didn't like it. But the next segment is going to be very polarizing. You guys, you two with the most rage and bile can go ahead. And I'll get to my opinion after you're done.
Well,
Go forth.
I'll start because I'm probably neutral. It's time for the CeeLo Green concert. And there was only one thing that I observed while I was watching this, because admittedly I was going to get cake and ice cream. They had to work very hard to find people in the audience who were giving a fuck about this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, it's the same thing with the Kid Rock concert.
So at least CeeLo's a bit more relevant than Kid Rock. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I like CeeLo. I like his music. I think he's talented. And even though I like CeeLo, this shouldn't have been on the show. Like,
no,
they could have filmed this.
Boo shouldn't have been on the show.
I like CeeLo. Again, I like CeeLo. I like his music. I've liked him for quite some time. But god damn, man. Look, WWE, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to stay popular and relevant, and at least you're bringing in celebrities that at least appear to like wrestling. But really?
At least it wasn't a full Kiss concert.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's the other thing is.
Or Megadeth in 1999. Hello.
I would like to point out one thing. 2 songs is not a concert.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know why anyone's calling it that. He did 2 songs.
Well, what are some?
At least it wasn't Kid Rock.
No, Leif, you be quiet, okay?
Edit that
For
out.
show.
I found it actually hilarious when he got to "fuck you." And he couldn't sing "fuck you," so every time he has to say that, he just pauses and holds the microphone up, and nobody responds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
was Kid Rock all over again. You remember that back at WrestleMania last year.
Well, at least maybe there was a few people in the audience who were yelling "fuck you," but not exactly at the song per se, but more because they didn't want to see CeeLo. So it was. I mean, but I think CeeLo got his little stab in at the end.
Oh,
which was actually kind of funny.
That's not PG.
So what happened was, at the end, he finishes his performance and they pipe in some cheers. And CeeLo looks at the camera, sticks his 2 fingers up like he's doing a backwards peace sign, and starts like flipping his tongue in between the 2 fingers. And everyone knows what he's doing. And just like the sheer audacity. Just because he was like, okay, so I'm going to sing "fuck you." Okay, but we want you to censor it. Look, but that kind of takes away from the song. We don't care. PG. This is the one time where I'm in full support with people who are kind of like screw PG, because if you're going to sing "fuck you," sing "fuck you."
The only reason why he sang that song is because it's the only other song that, it's his only other hit.
Well, that's not entirely true.
Well, the question I have, though, is
it's his biggest hit, man.
Why couldn't we have just had a match? You had Dolph Ziggler versus Alex Riley for the U.S. title just sitting there presented to you, which would have been awesome on this pay-per-view, I think. And you blew it.
No, I agree. And
I agree. It was terrible padding, but, I don't think people get so pissed off that they had the guy do 2 songs.
Well, it's not that we're pissed off that he did 2 songs.
I disagree.
Pissed off at the fact that WWE did this before and they haven't learned their lesson.
So basically, it boils down to he had a performance instead of wrestling. I mean, which is pretty much what. And some people hate CeeLo, so I'm pretty sure there are some people out there who are like, he's doing 2 songs. I mean, there were some people in the thread who were like, he's doing 2 songs. Oh crap, Well, but I like CeeLo. I think he was horribly he was thrown into the lion's den here, and they totally.
I almost wonder. I wonder if maybe it was part of the deal to use the song to use so. Bright Lights, Big City.
I think they were just like, we want to use your song, and hey, we want you to perform, and he was just like, okay, more press for me. You know?
Money, press, yeah, sure, whatever.
I don't think it was a part of a deal or anything. I don't think he...
Yeah, I
don't think
really doubt that.
I don't think he strokes his own ego that much.
Oh, well, it wouldn't necessarily have to be him. His record company could do that.
I guess.
Well, yeah.
It's their song.
But still, I don't think that was a part of the deal.
Anyway.
What
I wish we could find out, which is probably impossible to tell, I want to know who got the pay-per-view because CeeLo was announced to be on it. That's what I'd love to know.
People with way too much money.
Yeah.
But the next match... Oh, son of a bitch. Okay.
Beth Phoenix versus Kelly Kelly for the Divas title. The biggest booking misstep of the night.
Yeah.
Easy.
No question.
No question. I mean, really, it was set up to be a fluke victory, so I guess, but still, it's a huge booking misstep. I mean, how you're setting up this huge angle with like death to the bimbo, and then you have the bimbo beat who you're trying to set up. I mean, what? Why would you do that? And by the way,
to make threatening heels, guys.
Yeah. By the way, this may be misogynistic of me, but goddamn, Beth Phoenix is hot.
I could not get past the fact that I've never seen her in ring gear like that. I've always seen her in, like one color swap of that usual like pants top outfit. So I'm just staring at it going, why is she in a dress?
Yeah, it does seem weird that
I have a sneaking suspicion that was like her mocking the normal divas. That's just my guess. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit.
A little too much credit. It might have been in the back of it might have been subconscious, but I don't think it was a forethought or anything. I hope she goes back to her regular outfit, but
as one of our co-hosts has pointed out, she also looked like ODB.
Yeah.
No, her tits weren't that big.
One of my main problems with this is basically the entire match, Beth Phoenix is obliterating Kelly Kelly.
By the way, hold on. I'm sorry. I have to point out something.
Go ahead.
Ken Anderson was in a relationship with ODB, implying they had sex at some point. Get that image out of your head.
God damn it, War Machine.
I really hate.
And now to read an excerpt from my Jeff Jarrett /fic.
No, you you die.
That's really match.
Not really a whole lot of memorable spots aside from Kelly snapping at one point where she's got Beth down in the corner and just starts screaming and slamming her head into the mat. I actually got kind of a chuckle out of that.
That was pretty awesome.
It was just so adorable.
But
she's so adorable when she tries to be intimidating.
So yes, as I was saying, Beth Phoenix basically kicks her ass up and down the street all match, and then suddenly she gets the quick roll-up. which to me either implies... No, this implies only one thing to me. Beth Phoenix has incredibly poor balance. Because apparently that's the only way Kelly Kelly can beat Beth Phoenix, by exploiting the fact that she has a very odd center of gravity.
Yeah, I I gotta agree with you there. Really, I wouldn't mind this as much if it wasn't Kelly Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, if it were, say, Beth Phoenix versus Natalya, and Natalya squeaked out like this, I would wonder why it wasn't a little more decisive, but I would get what they were going for. But because it's Kelly Kelly, I know this is just going to... Beth Phoenix is going to win the title on Raw tonight.
Yeah.
If that happens...
That's what's going to happen.
Well, if that happens, that might confirm my suspicion that Vince Russo is secretly working for the company again, because he's doing the exact same thing on TNA with the tag titles at this very moment.
Every title, Backlash, every title.
I mean, I don't understand. If you want title change, this happened on SmackDown too. If you want title changes to happen, have them on pay-per-view, because it's a ripoff. It's a ripoff to the people who bought the pay-per-view. This is booking 101, guys. I mean, I'm not saying I'm exactly qualified to do your job, because really, it would be an endless string of heels winning. No, let me rephrase that. People that I like winning. Like, it would be nepotism to the max. And
they wouldn't have to be related to you.
So, wait a minute. How many people work on DarkMatch here? What's the theory where if you put enough monkeys in a room with enough typewriters, they'll write Shakespeare?
But, in terms of, favoritism, I'm automatically not qualified. But I have to say, some of the mistakes they make, it's just like, what the hell are you doing? And the next mistake we're going to get to, but then we have more vetting. We see Steph walking out of a locker room, and it's John Cena's. They keep hinting at this screw job the entire night.
They were hinting at a screw, but it wasn't a screw job.
Well,
hey-oh!
Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. Speaking of jobbing, that one's a little loose.
At least she wasn't wiping her lips off when she came out.
Oh, jeez.
Which would have made the segment later a lot more uncomfortable. But,
my favorite part of the night. R-Truth is backstage talking to Little Jimmy, and we finally find out who Little Jimmy is. It's Jimmy Hart!
Who knew Jimmy Hart was the power behind the throne?
And, so he's talking to him the whole time, and he essentially says, you need someone like me. You need a manager. I manage the Honk Tonk Man, Hart Foundation, blah, blah, blah. And he says, you need someone like me because you're not thinking big. And Truth goes, yeah, you're right. I haven't been thinking big. I've been thinking short term instead of long term. I've been thinking little, Jimmy. And then he gets this look on his face. And he goes, Little Jimmy! And he's just like, Little Jimmy! And Jimmy Hart was wearing sunglasses, but I would have paid anything for him to take off his sunglasses just so I could see the look on his face.
You know what I would have loved?
He was like, I'm not Little Jimmy, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I would have loved more in that promo is if instead of Jimmy Hart saying that he needs him for a manager, he said, you need me because you need some freaking entrance music.
The only thing that would have made this better is if Truth asked Jimmy what a windjammer was.
Yeah, but I gotta say, I'm loving R-Truth. I mean, I'm so glad they finally they got this right with him, because this could have been really bad. Like, they've turned him almost into a Twisted Metal Black character. I mean, it's great. I mean,
Okay,
you know, I never really had any strong feelings for or against R-Truth before this. I always thought he was kind of bland and just needed something. I don't know what, but something to get people's interest up in him and to get him, and to get him heat or to get the crowd behind him. I didn't care what, and I'm glad they did this. I'm really glad.
Of course, now that you said that, I picture him setting his house or his head on fire, but it's not burning him for some reason.
But the next match, Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett. Another match they didn't promote. That great.
Wait a minute, yes they did.
They did?
When did they do that?
Oh god. I don't know if they promoted it last week, but I think the week before, because Daniel Bryan had a match and Wade Barrett was on commentary. They were talking about his end.
That's not booking a match. That's setting up a feud. That's not booking a match.
I could have sworn they said that they had a match at SummerSlam.
Well, still, they could have given a throwaway line. They could have just run down the card on SmackDown. It's and we'll also be seeing Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett.
No, they were too busy hoping CeeLo was going to draw buys.
We've discussed this since before. But Wade Barrett comes out, and he's got his shoulder coat on. So automatically we know he's supposed to be badass.
Wade, putting on a coat is not character development. I don't care if he wore it during NXT. I never freaking watched the first season of NXT.
I did.
Well,
I feel sorry for you, sir.
Actually, the first season of NXT wasn't that bad.
Maybe he's trying to be a 90s comic character.
Oh, God. Somebody call Rob Liefeld. We can make $1 million of them.
Oh, God, no.
He's Ra's al Ghul. But, I gotta say, this match was very good. These two really know each other, and you can see that in the ring. However, Daniel Bryan is the holder of the SmackDown Money in the Bank. Alberto Del Rio has cashed it.
Whoa. Spoilers.
Yeah, whatever.
Good work, War Machine.
Oh, eat me. They haven't watched the show already. Anyways, I gotta say, this is not a good way to book Daniel Bryan, and it's not giving me hope. It really isn't, because I've been speculating, and many people also have, with this new double Money in the Bank, about if someone from either brand is going to be the first to lose, and it's only a matter of time before they have that happen. And, it was speculated when they were still doing it at WrestleMania that Jack Swagger was going to be the first to lose. It was speculated that Miz is going to be the first to lose. And now it's looking like Daniel Bryan is going to be the first to lose. And I really, really hope that that's not going to happen. Or what's going to happen is that, because does anyone remember the last guy who announced he was going to be cashing his Money in the Bank in at WrestleMania?
Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me if they go that route with Daniel Bryan. Give the case to someone else.
It's looking like they're going to have a match at Night of Champions for the case, and that's not kosher with me. That's not okay.
Oh God, Wade Barrett with the
I don't really mind Barrett. I don't really mind Barrett so much. I think he needs a new finisher. I think he should just make the Black Hole Slam his finisher, but because that looks
off my TV.
That looks way better than the Wasteland. But, I gotta say, I'm really hoping that they go the completely opposite direction than what they're hinting at, and they have Daniel Bryan get his match. I don't care if he really loses at WrestleMania. I would like him to win, but I don't want him losing the case at any point. Even if that means a heel turn for him to hold on to it. I do not want him losing it. But, good match, terrible finish. What do you guys think?
Well, I thought the finish was kind of sour on me at first, but I know they need to build up Daniel Bryan if they really are going to have him go into WrestleMania, but think about this. They've got nothing for him to do until WrestleMania. And I think feuding with Barrett is probably the way to go. And if you want to extend the feud, you have to give Barrett a win at first, and then this goes on into Night of Champions. If they want to wrestle for the case, let him wrestle for the case, but have Bryan go over. Like, make it a submission match.
Bryan going over?
Shut your face.
They gave him the case.
I mean, seriously, because if they just spin around and give Barrett the case, why didn't they just have him win in the first place? I mean, they obviously have something planned for him. I just really hope that they're doing this just to give Bryan something to do until Hell in a Cell, and then he has a match there, and then at Survivor Series he's on team something or other, and bragging rights and all that, and then he goes into WrestleMania, whether he wins or loses, I just hope they don't make this pointless and redundant. But that's my final thought on the match.
Enough on that. Let's move on. Next up is the World Heavyweight title match, and we get another promo video. Padding! And
Promo video. Okay, hold on. Let me stop you there, because you've been saying that about promo videos. Promo videos have always been a part of the pay-per-view. I mean, let's be honest here.
I know that. It's just like, this time it felt like they were just... Like, did Sheamus and Mark Henry need a promo video?
They've been showing the promo video. I mean, look, they showed the same promo video for Cena Punk. And it's been padding on other pay-per-views, it's padding here now. There's really no difference. I mean...
Okay, well, I won't bitch so much about the promo videos, but whatever. Because I know we all want to talk about this match.
So, Christian comes out. And earlier he mentions, like, some big announcement. And so he comes out here at first, grabs the mic, and starts talking about this big announcement. And, he says, he gives his basic man of integrity stuff, and he says he has an insurance policy. And the way he was talking about it sounded like he was talking about Jericho. And, which was really weird because he's going on tour with Fozzy, but I figured maybe one off appearance and then he goes away for a little while. But Edge comes out. I was pleasantly surprised to see Edge. His hair's short. His hair was short. It was jarring. But,
it's not that much shorter than it was the last time we saw him.
No, his hair was like down to his shoulder blades last time we saw him. Now it's only down to his neck.
Yeah, it was weird. But, Edge showed up and, he started talking about, everyone knows I can't wrestle. Because if I do, I'll probably wind up paralyzed. So I felt a great sense of pride in passing the torch on to you when you won and you beat Alberto. And it looked like this was kind of heading to a Christian face turn. But he essentially says, you've been acting like a punk for a while. And, he says, I've done some despicable things in my career, but I did them with style. I didn't.
I'm just like you, but I'm so much better at it.
Yeah, I'm way more awesome than you. And I was just like, I love you, Edge. I love Edge. He's been my favorite wrestler since I started watching wrestling back late 2000, early 03. And God, I love this man. And I was shell shocked when he retired. But he came out and he essentially put Christian in his place and said, I'm not helping you. Bye-bye. And I was just like, oh, snap. And my first thought after, the initial shock settled was, oh, man, he's going to help Orton. And I love Randy Orton, but that's not how I wanted the match to end. And but it goes into the match, and this was a really good match. Like, their matches have been of a very consistent ever since they started having these series matches of theirs. And I gotta say, this was probably the best out of all of them, because there may be another in the future, but it'll probably be a three-way of some type, and this felt like a very definitive end to what they wanted to do. And you know, I know the finish may annoy some people because, you know, it's now the cool thing to hate Orton, but you know, I gotta say that it made both the men look strong. It made Orton look like he deserved to be champion. It actually made Christian look like a fighting champion. And, you know, it showed a vicious side of Christian that we hadn't seen before because he's been doing his chicken shit heel. But I'm going to stop talking, and I'll chime in, but I'm going to stop talking right now. You guys can go ahead.
Well, I thought this match was really good. I mean, for a no-holds-barred match in this day and age, it actually felt exciting. It felt epic. It felt like the big blow-off that this 3-month feud, however long it's been going, needed. And I have to applaud both men for putting on one hell of a show. I mean, I know Christian's got to be hurting after that RKO into the steps. God damn. How did he not break his neck? But the one thing that actually kind of caught me off guard was I had expected Edge to come back and interfere somehow. Like, I know he can't probably get in the ring and do actual moves and spear people, but I think the man can still swing a chair.
I'm not surprised that he didn't come back. Because that's very much what it felt like was, you know, Christian. That's what Christian brought him for was, you know, you're going to back me up, buddy. And Edge went, no, you kind of turned into a fucking idiot.
Well, hit Christian with the chair.
Well, but that's just fucking cold.
Well, that's it, maybe.
He just doesn't agree with his, you know, the way he's been doing things. He doesn't have it out for him.
I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to see more Edge.
Yeah.
Revolver Man, you've been kind of silent.
Well, I've been silent because I can't stand Randy Ortard. So I've decided to spare you my rant about how this motherfucker keeps getting over, keeps getting titles, and pissing me off.
Okay, then.
Okay.
I guess I feel weird that we're moving on from this already because it was a spectacular match. I really feel
I have
like
one more thing to say.
Okay, go ahead.
And I don't know if someone brought it up, but near the end of the match, Orton slashed open his hand.
Oh God, yeah.
And at one point, I don't even think he noticed it first, but he was setting Christian up for the RKO on the stairs, and he just looks at his hand, wipes the blood on his face, and then after he gives Christian the RKO, he goes up on top of the ropes, and he's showing off the championship, and he looks at the camera and gives the thumbs up with his bloody thumb. It was awesome.
PG.
It was awesome.
I think even Revolver Man might have to admit that was actually pretty cool.
It was cool, but once again, it leads into somehow this fucking psychopath is a face for some fucked up reason.
Hey, if nothing else, you got to see Randy Orton get her. Look for the bright side, people. Look for the bright side.
You know what? All right, I'll give that to you. Randy Orton hurt himself. That makes me smile.
So, the next match, it's match of the night. It's the Thrilla in Manila. It's CM Punk versus John Cena. So the entire night, they've been building up the potential for a screwjob on either party. And it looked like it was going to go, the screwjob was going to favor...
Hang on. You're kind of jumping ahead. This is something I've been wanting to talk about all night. I know you don't like me bitching about video packages, but they just went really overboard with all this stuff. Because first, we have SummerSlam access, because we needed that.
So what a better thing for something that isn't showing up on the pay-per-view and is over.
Yeah. And
Well, I'm not talking about video packages in general. I'm more talking about promos for matches.
Yeah,
Like the Access video package was padded, a glorious padding. Well,
yeah,
I'm more talking about like video packages and stuff like that.
Let him finish, man. Let him finish.
Yeah, let me just go through everything we got. We get the SummerSlam access. We get another backstage thing of Triple H talking to Stephanie McMahon. And then we get another video package hyping up the match. And then while they're doing the entrances, they even manage to pad that out. Because first Triple H comes out, and then CM Punk comes out, and they pimp 7-Eleven in the middle of his entrance just to add about 20 more seconds onto it. Then they have Cena come out, and then instead of just starting the match, they do the extended introduction on the mic, and Triple H checks them for weapons, which they never do anymore.
I would say. Oh, go ahead.
It felt like it took at least 20 minutes between the end of the World Heavyweight Championship match to get to the beginning of the next match.
I mostly agree with you, Backlash, with the exception of the pre-fight, the pre-match things that they were doing, because, in my opinion, that makes this match seem like a huger deal when they do special things like that. It makes it sound like this WWE match is fucking important. That's something they've seriously been lacking. They've treated title matches not different than any other match, and that kills it by having Triple H look for weapons, by having somebody give them the special introductions. To me, that says big match. And if it's your heavyweight title match, it should be big match.
Yeah, you can do that, but they could have done it faster. I know I'm being very broad here, but it felt like it just dragged on forever.
But back to what I was saying a little earlier. They were the entire night they were kind of building up to a possible screw job. And that's kind of what everyone was expecting. And, Stephanie coming out of John Cena's locker room with Triple H kept whispering something to Cena during the match, and you didn't know what it was. But it probably sounded like robble, 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 robble.
I know a couple of people who thought that Triple H was going to screw both of them and claim the title for himself, but some people just can't stand Triple H.
Yeah.
I knew they weren't going that route. They're not. If they haven't done it already, they're not going to turn Cena heel now for this.
Well, you see, the thing is, in their minds, Cena is still the face and CM Punk is still the heel, even though that's not what it is in the eyes of the public.
Right, but even if Triple H screwed CM Punk and Cena got the win, that doesn't make Cena a heel. I mean, Cena could have been thrown out of the ring, like knocked out, knocked silly or whatever. Triple H pedigrees the fuck out of CM Punk a couple of times, and then throws Cena on and makes the count. That's not Cena being a heel.
That's more Cena being taken advantage of than anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they could have done the screw job for Cena and not turned him. So that's something they could.
Well, yeah, that would have been the logical thing. But again, the swerve is that there is no swerve.
Well,
not even to be funny.
Well, that's not entirely true because Cena kind of gets screwed.
Let's do the match first before we get to what happens after the match.
All right then.
Well, after all the introductions are made and everything, CM Punk and John Cena, they have a good chemistry. Like, have they worked together before WWE? Because it seems amazing that these guys just click.
I doubt it.
I mean, maybe CM Punk and John Cena, like, maybe this is like the Hogan Warrior thing back in WrestleMania 6, where they just book everything so perfectly before the match that it just comes off naturally during the match. Or maybe they really are just calling it in the ring.
Well, I mean, you also have to also have to take into account CM Punk is, I hate to kind of fluff him this much, but he's a genius in the ring. I mean, he really knows what he's doing. And he like Jericho, could carry a broomstick and a sack of manure to the ring and have at least a 3.5-star match. You know, I mean, and I think that's not giving him enough credit. I'm a huge Punk fanboy. I honestly think that, and not to take credit away from Cena, because this is, you know, a two-person job. They do know each other quite well, which is, and I think their feud at the beginning of the year was kind of feeler, you know, like, just to see if maybe they could do something with them later. And their feud at the beginning of the year was decent. And, you know, that very brief kind of new Nexus versus new Nexus versus John Cena thing that they did. But, you know, I gotta say,
that actually might have been, WWE never books this long term, but that might have been just to make that it was kind of an unimpressive thing because CM Punk never touched Cena and the other way around because of New Nexus, that it would make it seem like the Cena feud would be disappointing, lowering our expectations. And so when it blows up like this, it's just like, holy shit!
But anyways, regarding the match, I actually got a little chuckle out of Cena during this match because at several points during the match, the crowd starts chanting, "You can't wrestle," which Cena would always then respond with a wrestling move.
Like, really graceful. He did a absolutely beautiful dropkick. Like, I've seen him do a dropkick before, so it's not that hard to believe. But it's almost like I completely forgot that he could do it. I mean, it was, you know, I think Punk really brings out the best in Cena. And the other way around, because if you notice, in this program with Punk, his promos have been improving, his humor has been improving, and the matches that they've had have been awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly think that they're really, really, you know, good with each other and what have you.
Right. But, noteworthy spots, I guess. There's a point where both men got knocked out outside the ring.
Oh, yeah.
And Triple H, he gets all the way up to a count of 9, and neither of them are getting up. So instead of just counting the double count out, he goes outside the ring, picks him up, and throws him back in. And that's badass. Simply put. Hello?
I have to agree with you.
I thought the call dropped.
Oh. No, we were just impressed by this match, I think.
Mm.
And so, let's move on to the end.
Because at that, before the match, and I don't know if anyone talked about this, I honestly thought that it was going to be a no contest, and they were going to go into Survivor Series, or not Survivor Series, Night of Champions, with this. But I was obviously wrong. But when Triple H got out and when it got to 9, I was like, "See, I told you." And then Triple H got out, I was like, "Damn it!" I look really stupid now.
One last thing I want to go before we go into the ending of the match. This is actually near the ending of the match, so it's pretty good to say this here. CM Punk hits this amazing elbow, and everybody starts chanting for Savage.
Uh-huh.
That was awesome. I love that. I've noticed that CM Punk's done a lot of Savage's moves, and I guess he must have been a fan.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can't blame him.
Neither can I.
But, so now we're at the end of the match. And, they keep hitting each other with their finishers, and they really put the emphasis on the submissions. I thought this was going to end with a tap out. And at that point, when I thought that, I knew who was going to win, because there was no way in hell they were going to have Cena tap out. But then did Cena ever hit the Attitude Adjustment?
Yes, he did, and Punk kicked out.
And Punk hit him with the GTS quite a few times, actually. And near the end of the match, Punk is facing away, or at least it didn't look like it, and it looked like he was watching Triple H, because they were both really paranoid, and you could kind of see it, that Triple H was going to try something. So whenever it would be really close to a 3 count and Cena would kick out, like, Punk would look at Triple H like, did you just wait? You know, because he had his back to Triple H. So when he's counting it, he's staring at Triple H to make sure he doesn't try anything. Triple H has his back to Cena, and Cena puts his leg up on the rope. And Triple H doesn't see it. Match ends. CM Punk wins. And so Punk is celebrating, and, like, people are cheering Punk, and I don't think they piped in boos, but there was a few vocal Cena fans. And so Cena essentially tells him, my leg was on the rope. And Triple H, and I could see him mouth it, sort of. He says, sorry. Like, and I was like, well, that was, I totally thought they were going to restart the match, and then, so Punk crawls back in the ring, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. Fucking Triple H is gonna pedigree him, and then Alberto Del Rio's gonna come out, cash in, night end. Triple H raises his hand. And that's when I was like, okay, it's going to happen. CM Punk, you fool. And then, like, Punk is looking at him like, are you serious right now? And so he relaxes, and then I'm like, that's it right there. And then Triple H leaves the ring. I was just like, well, this was certainly non-swervy. Then, all of a sudden, this big, tall dude walks in the ring. At first, I was like, who is that? And then I thought maybe it was like Khali, because he was tan, had black hair, and was huge. So I was just like, what's Khali doing here? And then I was like, wait a second, because it like spun around and it kind of showed it from this angle. I was like, that's Kevin Nash. He kicks Punk in the gut, power bombs him, like leaves him dead. Triple H spins around, he's like, what are you doing? What is this? And he's just, and like, you know, Nash is like, what's up, man? And he leaves the ring. And then Del Rio comes out, cashes in. He hits him with an enziguri, which I thought was really lame, by the way. 1, 2, 3, Alberto Del Rio is your new WWE champion.
Yay!
What the hell just happened? We were shell-shocked.
I don't have any words for this. Holy crap.
This was, well, first of all, I would never have guessed the situation. I also, if I had somehow guessed the situation, never would have said fucking Kevin Nash, because knowing Kevin Nash, if he tried to put Punk up for the power bomb, he probably would have broke both his legs. But fucking Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash!
What in...
Why?
What? Blue hell.
Is it going to be revealed that Punk disrespected Kevin Nash when he was like 6 and Kevin Nash was still fucking Diesel or something?
You know what I'm going with? Kevin Nash is a mercenary.
You know what?
No.
I actually have to use this quote from Allie. He called it the torn quad alligator moment. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you, Allie. That's perfect.
I'm serious about the mercenary thing. I think that's the gimmick they're going for. He will go to the highest bidder, because that pretty much wraps up Kevin Nash's career.
I was just about to say, isn't that Kevin Nash in real life in a nutshell?
I mean, that's pretty much Kevin Nash in real life, and this is very much like, you know,
so
I wouldn't say, it's very, like, shooty, like work. It's obviously a work, but it's
Oh,
they're bringing in a lot of stuff from real life, and
we find out tonight that Kevin Nash actually did fucking lose his mind and attack Punk for no reason, and they just rolled with it because it worked.
I would actually accept that. That would actually be rather awesome if they did that.
But yeah, it was crazy.
I have to say that's something seriously lacking in wrestling these days. Legitimately fucking wild moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like really wild moments, not just stupid moments that you see on TNA all the fucking time. Wild moments where you don't know what the hell is going on.
Because it takes quite a lot to make me surprised. I pretty much, it was surprising when Punk won, but not unforeseen. Because this was an incredibly hot angle. Mm-hmm. This was a very good possibility. I never expected Kevin Nash. It felt like something written in an e-fed.
See, but here's the thing. We say this, but the only reason why none of us saw this coming is because we don't follow Kevin Nash on Twitter.
I follow Kevin.
Nobody follows Kevin Nash on Twitter.
No, it doesn't matter if you're following him on Twitter. This is the last thing anyone would have thought of. There were people in the back who were scratching their head about this.
Did we plan that?
Like I said, it goes back to my theory that Kevin Nash legitimately lost it, and WWE just decided, hey, this fucking works. Go, Del Rio. Go, go, go.
I mean, I gotta... It was good. It was good.
It was definitely good.
Well done, WWE. Hats off to you. But, yeah, good match. Mm-hmm. Insane finish. And it really does kind of set up the next few months. I mean, they could do anything. I mean, there's really limitless possibilities at this point.
They could have a gimmick where Kevin Nash powerbombs people for no reason at the end of their matches.
That would be awesome. I think Tiefus said it best. Kevin Nash just shows up every now and again, just interjects himself every few years into a major angle, powerbombs somebody and leaves. Kind of like Farouk. But yeah, I like this match. I like this match a lot. I thought it was good wrestling, full back and forth. I did not know for a second who was going to win, and I love that. I want to be kept on my toes. Like, if I'm expecting Cena wins at everything, WWE, you're not doing your job. But, they have done a fantastic job of this, with this angle.
All right, considering that we have a show we want to watch, it's pretty obvious, yeah. We should start wrapping this up.
Yeah, let's do what gets more screen time than, I don't even know.
Dolph Ziggler.
What gets more screen time than Melina? We're doing Melina now.
Okay, we're doing Melina. What gets more screen time than Melina?
If anybody takes the obvious one, you have
No, we're not going to go.
We're not going to do chat.
No. I got one. John Morrison gets more screen time than Melina, but not for much longer.
Oh!
Sick burn. I can't go with Nash.
I had one, but I've forgotten it.
Oh.
Fuck it. JR gets more screen time than Melina.
Oh. Come on.
Man is getting more screen time than Melina.
She's also
a little louder. I didn't hear you.
I don't know. Bad booking gets more screen time than Melina.
This wasn't bad booking, though.
No, not this match, but just in the show overall.
Well, the match really propelled the show from bad to good.
Okay, how about this? Giant motherfuckers get more screen time than...
That's good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Dark Match. I'm Mr. War Machine, and I'm convinced that Bobby Flay and Tyler Florence are the same person. I'm watching Raw now. Go.
I'm Backlash, and holy shit, power bombs.
I'm your token chick duo's Angel.
And I'm the Revolver Man. Good night and good luck, and watch out for Kevin Nash. He will powerbomb your ass.